of this chase, to just bite our old tail. Wishing, wishing, wishing that something would change, that we could turn back the page and live like our favorite fairy tales. So a love so free in a world of our fantasy, flying on dragons through sky-high cities. These are childhood dreams, it's how we used to be, when we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Oh, 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 our childhood dreams. Feeling, I feel so lightweight when I think back to those days, but then we went our own ways. I'm thinking about what needs to change, that we could turn back the page and live like our favorite fairy tales. So a love so free in a world of our fantasy, digging up treasures and sailing across the sea. These are childhood dreams, it's how we used to be, when we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams. Oh, 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 our childhood dreams. Our childhood dreams, it's how it used to be, when we were kings and queens in our childhood dreams.
Every weekend is the same. I'm the one you try to claim. Yeah, I already know about your game, but I'm not the one to sit around and be played. Call me up with no shame. All your words sound the same. Yeah, I already know about your game, but I'm not the one to sit around and be played. If you come around just to play me, don't bother, cause you're way overdue. Don't even try to convince me. Don't bother, cause now I see you through. If you come around just to play me, want you to come over. I wish that you would come and give me something to prove. Won't you pull me closer?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TTML. We are here for the season finale. It is round 11 of the championship as we take in season 2 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix around the Yas Marina circuit. My name is James Hay, going to be taking through the stream as your lead commentator, and joining me in the commentary box, it's not a Friday night without him. It is Mr. Daniel Hoggard. Dan, how are you doing?
Thank you very much, James. My oh my, what a season it has been. We are gathered here today for, as you mentioned, the final round of the season. Been 10 phenomenal races all the way through, and yeah, it has been an absolute spectacle to behold. 15 drivers in the lobby right now, still a few minutes before the start of the race, and of course, last time out in Mexico we saw our champion crowned in Jimmy Storm, who out of the 10 races we've had so far, he's won 6 of them. Absolutely dominant display. He is a champion, but we still have a lot to fight for here, particularly that Constructors battle, still very tight going into this final race.
It really is tight going into this final race, and we'll have a look at the standings, because not only that, but second place is up for grabs tonight as well. Jibby Storm, crowned champion, of course, last week. His interview last week was brilliant as well, as always. 232 points he leads on. Mason second on 178. Jack Roos in third on 177. 1 point separating second and third coming into tonight. Schmidtsky, ever consistent, in fourth on 139. Invictus in fifth on 112. Rock City in sixth on 110. Ranheim in seventh on 104. Gronk in eighth on 103. Parcells in ninth on 95. And Sappy King in 10th on 94 points. Running through the rest of the standings, Nilsson in 11th on 75, then Nellis in 12th on 52, Salas in 13th on 46, Schumi in 14th on 41, then Bart, Maka and Storm all tied on 35 points in 15th, Hulkenberg in 18th on 32, and Jeffrey and Surf the Blessed in 19th on 23 points. And Dan, with Mays and Jack Roos there, second and third, a point separating, it is going to be fascinating to see how they both get on.
Yeah, and what's amazing to think is that those two are second, third in the standings. Neither of them have won a race this season, and they're up there mainly just based on their phenomenal consistency throughout the season. Two very reliable drivers who you suspect are both going to be on their A game here tonight. So while the Drivers' Championship may well be decided, there are still battles up and down the field to be settled, scores to be settled over this final race. Here, of course, at the Abu Dhabi circuit, Yas Marina. So it is going to be an absolute show. I am absolutely sure of that. We're up to 16 drivers now. Better turnout than what we've had at many of the other races throughout this season, which is fantastic to see. We're just a few minutes away from the action kicking off first with that 18-minute qualifying session, of course. So yeah, excitement, tension building, as we love in racing. And yeah, hopefully this final race is going to be the best of the lot.
It is going to be the best of the lot, I think. Hopefully we don't get a repeat of Belgium and we have the 6 safety cars like we did earlier on in the season. Less we say about that race, I think the better. Mercedes in the lead in the Constructors' standings on 288 points. Racing Point in second on 278. So 10 points separating. Basically, it's going to come down to the wire. I can't be bothered to tell you about the championship permutations for them both, because they can both still win it. Williams in third on 242. That's still mathematically basically in it. They're a little bit way off. Renault in 4th on 220, McLaren in 5th on 187, Ferrari in 6th on 111, AlphaTauri in 7th on 104, Haas in 8th on 55, Alfa Romeo in 9th on 48, and Red Bull in 10th on 34 points. We are about to get going here for the final time this season for qualifying, and it is going to be a fascinating night. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Let's get into qualifying. Well, welcome along, everyone, to TTML Division 5. We are here for round 11 of the championship as we take in the Abu Dhabi circuit from Yas Island at the Yas Marina circuit. 3 tyre compounds available for the drivers here tonight, and those are the C3, C4 and C5 compound, the softs, mediums and the hards, of course, to you and me. My name, of course, is James A. Going to be taking through the stream. Daniel Hoggart alongside me in the commentary box as always. Let's have a look at this track then in question here at the Abu Dhabi circuit. 5.5 kilometres in length, 21 turns await the drivers, 2 DRS zones, 1 down towards turn 8 and 1 down towards turn 11. Hulkenberg was hanging like a cow here in 2018, so hopefully we're not going to see anybody do that tonight here in qualifying as we're about to get started for this 18 minutes worth of qualifying session. And as we begin to load into the lobby, and we now come on for this 18 minutes qualifying session, of course it is going to be dry as always here at the Abu Dhabi circuit. And Dan, we've got a really good qualifying session. We've got Mays and Javris here, 2nd and 3rd in the standings, separated by a point. How is qualifying going to go down?
Well, that is near impossible to predict, particularly with the season we have had, but we are, of course, going to get treated to a conclusion to that epic and flowing battle for 2nd place in the standings. That's certainly going to be one of the talking points ahead of this final race. Qualifying, pretty important round here, but actually, as opposed to what you might have seen in real life, this is actually not a difficult track to overtake on. The DRS zones make overtaking opportunities down into turn 8 and turn 11 at the end of those straights actually relatively easy to pull off. And another characteristic of this track is that sometimes if you make a pass going into turn 8, you can compromise your exit, get DRS by the car behind who can come right back past you. And you're going to see a lot of that in the race, a lot of swapping and changing in between those 2 DRS zones that play a major part in the racing at this track. So keep an eye out, it should be very, very exciting. Qualifying though is the first thing in front of us, so we're going to have to look ahead, see the action on the track. And qualifying's been very unpredictable throughout this season. I'd certainly say, who's been the stars in qualifying? Well, I think Invictus has really showed a lot of pace on one lap, but equally, it's had some sessions where he's not performed up to the standard that he can. So it's going to be great. Rock City as well is another driver that's really stood out in certain qualifying sessions. And of course, you can't count out any of our championship frontrunners as well. So those guys are probably going to be up there in that run for pole position. We'll see how it unfolds. First car out on the track though, NSR Storm is going to take us through, and of course go through the last section now. This very technical final third of the lap there, that hosts most of the corners and most of the time where time could be won or lost. So the Alfa Romeo coming round now, and NSR Storm around this circuit. It always caps off the season in real life. We're going to see it now. The final race in TTML Division 2. James, take us through it there. NSR Storm gearing up to the start of the lap. How good is the run around this Abu Dhabi track for the Alfa Romeo?
Let's have a look then as NSR Storm runs around the final corner, as now he runs down towards turn 1, reaching nearly 295 kilometres an hour as he comes now through turn 1. And then up the hill, slight through the rise, through turn 2 and 3. He's on a new pad, by the way, so if he is quicker than normal, then that's probably why. Storm coming through the first sector, 17 flat through the first sector, not too bad as he now flies through turns 5 and then 6, and then through the hairpin towards turn 7, as he now embarks on this 1 kilometre straight running down. Of course, the DRS will be enabled, of course, here in qualifying. And Storm now runs down towards turn number 8 out on track. Of course, famously where Nico Hulkenberg was hanging like a cow, as I mentioned in the track introduction. And hopefully, we're not going to see a repeat of that tonight. Hard into the braking zone then from NSR Storm. In excess of 200 mile an hour going down there, through turn 8 and then through turn 9. A little bit hesitant on the power, but there's Jibby Storm, defending champion. To the right-hand side there in Division 5, of course. Storm now on a lap as he takes the wide right line as he approaches towards the middle sector. Split to 57.9 through the middle sector for Storm. Now, through this very technical section that Dan mentioned, through 12 and 13, and then through 14, and then on the run through the triple right-hander of 15, 16, and 17. As you can tell by the markings on the track, Expo 2020 is coming here in 2021. Yeah, not sure how that works. Turn 18 anywhere for NSR Storm, then through turn 19 out on track, and then now through the final couple of corners he comes, the Dane now coming through. Turn 20 and then turn 21, and let's see what Storm can do. I think it's going to be around a 136 possibly from this lap. Yeah, 136.5. Good lap from him. Rock City in behind, coming through the final corner now. We're going to see a big improvement, I think, from the time of Storm. And look at that, 34.3. Schmitsky running in the slipstream in behind, 5/10 off. So it's Rock City from Schmitsky, and then Sappy King, who now goes into third.
I did mention Rock City's phenomenal qualifying pace. He's actually, in my opinion, got the measure of his teammate more often than not in the quali sessions. And he does go a provisional pole for the moment. There are passes over the line, slots in just behind NSR Storm. We're still seeing lap times coming in now, as over the line was one of the McLarens. I think that's Invictus just coming through to start a lap. I also mentioned his 1 lap pace, as we've got Nilsson moving up then on the medium tyre. So interesting way to kick off the session, and Mays goes in the 3rd place. So as we've seen so often throughout this season, it's those 2 Mercedes drivers really running things up at the front of the field then. Jathros over the line, and it's not particularly fast, definitely not a representative time for a man that's in the contention for 2nd in the championship. Jathros though, we haven't seen what his pace is like just yet. Mays wasn't a bad lap, but he's a full 2nd off his teammate, and we're going to see how Jathros fares. Those are the 2 drivers we're really going to be keeping an eye on all the way throughout this evening.
Yeah, we were riding on board with Invictus there as well, and Invictus had actually invalidated on his lap, and now he's gone for another one, and now he's coming through turn 8 and turn 9. There's a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3, I think that's an Alfa Romeo just getting out of the way, which may be Dame Miles, unless that's him coming back into the pit lane, which it is. So that was NSR Storm getting out of the way. Invictus now coming through the middle sector, split 57.1, quickest middle sector I think we've seen so far, as he now flies through as NSR Storm retires out on track, and he's crashed out through turn 16. Which is quite interesting. Wonder how that's happened. Out on track, we're about to see as Invictus now flies through. 10, 15, 16. Looks like he's gone straight on. And he's facing the wrong way. Very strange indeed. Invictus now coming through turn 18. And then through turn 19, he invalidates again. Coming on the exit of turn 18. Such an unfortunate bit of luck there for Invictus. 6 minutes through the Rock City on top. Schmitsky 2nd, Mays in 3rd. Currently out on track. Freak Gronk is on the lap coming through the middle sector.
Yeah, let's see how he handles this very technical last sector. He is about 6/10 down on what Invictus was managing, so let's see what he can do in this final section of the track then. Nice and clean actually, go through turn 13 then into turn 14. It's a difficult traction zone. On the way out then you're powering down. You're completely flat out. Going through turns 15, 16, then you're braking hard into 17 for one of the slowest corners on the track, then sweep it into turns 18 and 19, running out. You're trying to use as much of the track as you can, get as close as you possibly can to that wall on the outside. Then you've got to really attack turn 20 here. Again, it's all about carrying the apex speed through those last few corners. Again, difficult traction zone on the exit of turn 21. Freak Bronk goes into 6th place for Williams in a 1:35.6 between our champion Jimmy Storm and Pass Hills. Jimmy Storm not as good as we've seen lap time wise throughout this season. Maybe he's just let off the gas a little bit and knows that he doesn't have a championship to fight for. I suspect he's still going to put on the show though. Let's see what he can do with that. But Rock City, pretty dominant up the front, and Shimetsky at the moment the only driver that's anywhere near him at this stage.
I thought honestly if Jimmy Storm had the audacity to do a last to first challenge, and he crashes into the pit lane in fact, coming into the pits there. Ran very, very wide. I'm not sure if there was any damage. It's very difficult to see from this camera angle, but we'll see if he did. He's only 3,000th of a second, by the way, off Sappy King, which is not a bad lap there at all. Luckily, I don't think he got any damage as he was so close to the wall coming into the pit lane. Jack Roos is on a lap. I think he's improving. Well, he has to be. He's on a 156.9 currently, so the mediums coming into effect for Jack Roos. And interesting to see as Shumi goes up into 3rd with a 135.3. Yeah. That's Shumi, by the way, that I think I just misjudged his name there slightly and I said something else. Shumi 3rd, 135.316 from the Red Bull man. And he is a reserve driver, remember, Shumi, and he's gone ahead of Mays by about 600th of a second, so not a bad lap there at all. Jack Roos, though, coming around the final corner, I believe that was Nilsson improving down a lap for 36.2. Jack Bruce is going to be quicker than him. Across the line, 35.6, 6 tenths quicker than Nelson, nearly 7 tenths in fact, and he goes into 7th.
That's a good lap, actually, from Jack Bruce, and I'd say much more impressive than what Mays managed, you have to say. Only just over 2 tenths between those drivers, and he's on one compound harder as well. So that's a good lap for Jack Bruce, and early doors looking pretty impressive. We're going to see Shimetsu's just starting a lap. We've definitely come to an end in terms of the first runs of lap times we've seen out there, and now these drivers in the transition phase in the qualifying session, gearing up for their second qualifying lap. I'm trying to see actually who's furthest along on a flyer. Hulkenberg's going through the second sector. He's backed off on the way, probably on an in lap. I think the furthest driver along is actually Shimetsky, who's slightly down in that first sector. Now the Williams driver onto the throttle. An exit is so crucial out of here because you could be gaining or losing time all the way down. That's massive back straight between turns 7 and 8 there with the DRS open. You can see the speeds it gets up to then, about 330 kilometers an hour. Then you're on the brakes for turn 8 then. Exit out of turn 9 again. Very crucial. Shimetsky fighting the car a little bit then, trying to keep it under him and using the curves to maximise his usage of the track then. We've got some yellows there in sector 3. I think that's one of the Haas drivers, I think Hulkenberg, that's holding them up a little bit. Looks like he's managed to rescue it. Shimetsky again, slightly down in his time. He's again just a little bit out of shape. Going through the chicane, he's really fighting this. He's really pushing as a Williams driver, who's had a solid F1 spectacular first season in TTML. Let's see if he can pull a bit more out of this last sector. On the brakes for turn 17, attacking the apex. It has been a pretty aggressive lap for Shimetsky. Opening up then into turn 19. How close does he dare to get to that wall? He does leave a bit of margin then. He doesn't want to take too much risk. All over the carbon at turn 20, and he's run it too wide, and that's surely the end of that then. So the Williams dives to the pit lane. Rock City is behind them on the lap now as a Mercedes. Current provisional pole setter. Can he extend that near half a second margin? He has at the head of the field. How's the run through turn 20? It's good. Nicely through the apex. Now, into turn 21. Takes it in third gear. Short shift to fourth. Maximum traction off the exit. And it is huge. A 33.7. And he is dominating this field at the moment. Sammy King does go second ahead of Shimetsky, but he's still a full second behind. At the moment, no one can get near Rock City more than halfway through the session. And there's no indication. And there's, I say that, Invictus goes second. And it's those two drivers I mentioned up the top of it then, fighting for the top of the timesheets, but Rock City still holding down that pole position.
I was struggling to find Rock City there on the camera angle. I was trying to find him down the bottom of the field, and I had to go on board with Silas and everyone and all in that. But Invictus going second, 34 flat, really good to see. Can, though, he try and improve ahead of Rock City? And of course, Rock City, we were meant to interview, without the graphics, of course, tonight. We were meant to interview him, and he said coming into this race, it's going to be a big ask. But currently, he's doing everything that's asked from him. We're more than halfway through qualifying. Rock City out on top. Invictus second. That man there, Safi King, in third position. I think Silas is on a lap coming through the end of turn 17 and then through turn 18 underneath the grandstand. Then that comes through turn 19 again. Another one on a sudden medium compound of tyres. Tyre day quite high around here. We'll come on to that, of course, as we go into the race. And Silas runs out wide coming through. I think he's going to be around Passel's free Gronk sort of area coming across the line. Not too far off, 36 flat. To be honest, I'll take that. I think he goes 11th with a 36 flat. Nilsson there in 12th. Hulkenberg on an out lap. I don't think there's anybody really out there on a lap now.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of a... Yeah, it's a quiet phase in the session. I think Jebby Storm is the nearest to actually getting onto a lap. So we'll see what the Flying Dutchman can do. He'll, of course, he has wrapped up the championship, but he'll still want to get involved a little bit in the mix, I suspect, going throughout this event. And we haven't really seen much from either of the guys fighting for second in the championship. Jack Rose, I reckon, does have the pace for at least P3 in this session, if he just find a bit of time on those soft tires that he's now fitted in the pit lane. Let's keep an eye out, Jimmy Storm. I'll leave it to you, James, to take us through it. And if he can push up higher than P7 at the standings, I know as a champion he'll want to be doing better than that.
I thought you were going to call me Dave for a minute there. On the run down towards turn 1 from Jimmy Storm as he comes through turn 1. Oh, goodness me. The trials and tribulations of a commentary team here. Jimmy Storm now through turn 2. Free Gronk just coming out of the pit lane out to the left-hand side. And now Jimmy Storm running down towards turn 3. Let's see what he's like through the first sector. He's a 10th up, 17 flats. Not the quickest we've seen so far tonight. And certainly not the quickest we've seen all week from the Dutchman as he now comes through with 5 minutes to go in qualifying down the straight towards turn number 8 out on track, and Jimmy Storm will reach in excess of 200 mile an hour here running down the straight in kilometres now, as you can see to the bottom right. It's about 330 he reached down in towards his heavy braking zone of turn 8. Trying and pull back on board with him as he now comes through turn 9 and then on the exit through turn 10 and then onto the F2 pit straight. The old F2 pit straight, of course, here at Abu Dhabi. This is where they used to start the F2 races from. Jimmy Storm now coming through the middle sector. Nelson has retired through the final corner. We'll try and come on with that in just a second, but Jimmy Storm's purple in the middle sector. He's improving by at least 0.6 of a second. But to get to Rock City, he's got to find at least another second on Rock City just in this final sector alone. Can he do it? He is the champion of this season, of course, in TTML Division 5, now through 17 and then through 18. The Marina Bay there on the right-hand side, now through 19. Looking very good through there. Now through the final 2 corners comes Jimmy Storm through turn 20 and then through turn number 21. Let's see what he's going to do as he rounds the final corner. He'll go third, I think, with this lap. Jimmy Storm across the line, 34.4. Not the greatest improvement in the history of Division 5, but 34.4 puts him into third, and he's 3.5 of a second ahead of Sappy King.
Yes, solid enough lap for Jimmy Storm. He has put himself up into the mix at the very least out there. Hulkenberg, as far as along, he's validated another lap then. Dives to the pit lane and he'll really struggle. Oh, gets into the pit wall! And I think he has actually knocked that front wing this time. So yeah, that's going to be a major blow. Let's see if he can possibly set himself back up for the end of this session. He is going to be tight on time, there's no doubt about that. Dave Miles, though, hasn't got a time on the board just yet. The only other driver is Nellis, who we saw go off earlier on in the session. He's going to get blocked, though, and you see he does get out the way. But that is certainly going to hold it back. That it cost the Alfa Romeo a bit of time. We have seen some very good qualifying performances from Dave Miles at various points throughout the season. Can he make anything of that? Because he was definitely held up there by the Williams. Now, heading in to that final corner, opens up the exit. Does he get anywhere up there? He does go into 8th place. Not bad, but I think there's probably more in that then, and he's going to struggle to get another lap time in there. Dave Miles will start, I believe, no higher than 8th. We'll see if he can make anything more of that then. Who is actually on a lap then? Shimetsky's just started one. Mace is a little bit further along, heading down the back straight. Free Frog near the end, but he's run massively wide there going through 17.
Yeah, ran way wide coming through 17, now through 18 and then 19. You can see the marina right in the foreground of shot there. Beautiful camera angle that. And now through turn 20 and then towards turn 21. In fact, he's not going to even take turn 21 because he's into the pit lane. So Free Kronk back in. That's going to be tight on time, though, to try and get that back around in about 40 seconds. It's going to be really tight for him to get back on track. I think he might do it, but it is a very long pit lane here at Abu Dhabi. Do you know what? I think he's got no chance getting back out.
Yeah. Doesn't look like it in the slightest, it must be said. Now let's look for some of our other cars going around the lap then. Passel's coming up to the line. He is slightly down then. Mays is slightly up going through that middle sector, but it's not going to be a dramatic improvement then for the Mercedes. How good is his run to the last 2 corners? That's decent enough. Through turn 20, does he use the exit curve? We've not seen many drivers do that out of turn 21. To the line, Mays does improve up to 6th position. But do you sense there was more in that? Jack Roos is behind him now, just starting a flying lap out there. Silas, sorry, I was looking at the wrong car then coming over the line. That was Invictus just starting a lap, and we'll see what he can make of that. 3/10 to find. Can he pull that off? We have, I believe, Dave Miles is going to that last sector. He's backed off, and Rox, and actually, who is furthest along on a lap at the moment? Then I do see Jack Ross is on the lap, but he's down in that first sector as the Renault. It's not looking too good for him. And if he's starting down in that 9th place, his task of getting P2 in that championship is going to be an awful lot tougher.
I believe Silas is the car that is furthest along on the lap. He's invalidated and he was 2/10 down with all the invalidation as well. Yeah, Demar's not improving. Schmidtsky not improving. I don't think we're going to see many improvements, to be honest, with about 35 seconds to go here in qualifying. Rock City, Invictus, Jibby Storm currently at top 3. Jibby Storm notably not back out on a lap. Invictus, I think, is going through the middle sector, so we'll catch on board with him in just a second. We'll run on board with Silas around the final corner. He's invalid, but he will get another lap in. 36.6 on a set of softs. Invictus, though, 400th down, but a purple middle sector from Invictus. Can he try and respond? He's got to find 3.5 tenths basically on Rock City to try and put this on the line. And he is the king of qualifying here in Division 5, has mounted up a lot more qualifying pole positions than anybody else on the field. Jimmy Storm, Free Gronk, Passels, not sending any more improvements. Invictus now, coming around the final 2 corners. Jack Roos has left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in, and hopefully it doesn't cause any problems. Invictus across the line. Does improve, 33.8. He does improve by 0.2 of a second. Satmi King is out there on a lap, and he's 200 top, 57 flat through the middle sector, but he's not as quick as Invictus. I think he's about a 10th down on Invictus's middle sector from that. Jimmy Storm, of course, not improving. Rock City is the furthest along now, and he is 200 top as he now comes through turn 17, then through turn 18, and then through turn 19, and that's right on board with him as he takes in the final couple of corners out on track. Rock City through turn 20, and then towards turn 21. It's a great lap from Rock City. Can he improve anymore? No, he can't. He loses the back end. That is so unfortunate for Rock City. Sappi King is coming around the final corner. That's Shumi as well coming across the line. He doesn't improve. Sappi King doesn't improve. He barely improved. In fact, Sappi King, 1900th of a second. Salas is out there. I'm not sure if he's on a lap. He is, but he's invalid. That is the end of qualifying then, and Rock City out on top from Invictus in second, Jippy Storm in third. Look at that, 7/10 of a second separating the top 3.
Yeah, it did come down in the end to those 2 qualifying specialists, and it was Rock City that came out on top. You said that this season could have delivered so much more for Rock City. Only 1 victory there in Baku, and apart from that, it's really just not worked out for the Mercedes driver. But let's see if he can make amends to this final race. Invictus, you said so threatening, and Jimmy Storm third on the grid. You said he is always going to be a danger. So let's see how this is going to unfold. Imaze and Jatrus, 6th and 7th. Not what they would have been hoping for at all, I can certainly imagine. And we're going to have to see if they work their way through. Jatrus, especially because he looked very good on those mediums, but didn't find the time that he should have done, I think, going on to those soft tires at the end of the session. So in the end, he has been out-qualified by Maze. Can he make his way up in the session? Rock City on that pole position. Invictus random close, not close enough. Big gap back to Jimmy Storm, and almost as big a gap down to Satmi King, who sits 4th on the grid, just ahead of Shemetsky, his fastest lap time came early in the session. Maze improves to 2nd in front of Jatrus, and let's see how those 2 drivers get on. TTML's Freak Gronk round at the top 10. With their tyres locked for the race. Free choice of tyres for Passel, Silas, Nilsson, Storm, Hulkenberg and Nellis. That is going to round off the qualifying session. Rock City on pole position. Can he at last, after victories eluded him in so many races this season, can he finally prove his worth in this final race at Abu Dhabi? 28 laps ahead of us. An intriguing strategic race, I think, because out of the 1-stop and the 2-stop, it's not absolutely conclusive as to which one's the better strategy.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating, I think, to see what is going to happen, I think, here in Abu Dhabi. And it's going to be one of the most fascinating races you may see all season, with the graphics, of course. The graphics and Tom doing a fantastic job in the background. I'm sure he would give you a wave if he was on the camera. He is not. He's with us in the party, and he's controlling everything in behind. We're just connecting back up on our end, but to be able to see now the lobby as we go and load in towards qualifying, towards the formation lap. And the formation lap, of course, is important because we get to talk about the tyre wear. And the tyre wear around here is quite potent on this track. Set of soft compounded tyres, I've said it all week, I think, they can only last about 4 or 5 laps on peak performance before they start really ebbing away, and then you're going to see early pit stops, I think, in this early stage of the race. 2-stop, I think, is better than a 1-stop around here, and if we get any safety cars, then, goodness me, it's going to open up a hell of a lot of possibilities, I think, but we are going to get into the formation lap and see who is going to be out on top. Of course, it's Rock City, Invictus, Jibby Storm, your top 3. We are just moments away from beginning the race here, and let's see what tyre everyone is on. No surprise really further down the field to see Passel, Silas, Storm, Hulkenberg and Nellis all on a set of medium compounded tyres. On a set of soft compounded tyres, we have Rock City down to Free Gronk, of course, top 10 qualifying on that set of compounded tyres, but Nilsson striking out at me in the unlucky 13th spot. He's on a set of soft compounded tyres. He'll be looking to try and make his way through the field as much as possible. Yeah,
he has the fastest tyres in the entire field to start off this race, so that's definitely going to be the plan for the McLaren driver. Of course, for all these guys, make sure to same as usual, don't chip off your front wing, make sure you get through cleanly, and then and then after that you can focus on trying to make some progress going throughout the field. But yeah, Nilsson, that's an interesting strategy call. I have seen a one-stop done at this track, starting on the soft tyres. So we'll see if he can pull it off, although it can be a bit impractical, as you mentioned earlier, with how quickly those softs are going to be degrading. The start's going to be crucial for all those guys to make sure they're making the most of it. Obviously the top 10 forced onto the softs from qualifying on them, and Rock City, I have to say, is taking this formation lap at quite a pace out there. You can see it you can just see it on one of the screens there provided to you guys. But yeah, Rock City really going to try and get some temperature into those tyres. And just make sure he's gets as much grip off the start as possible. Interesting from Rock City, he's coming up to the grid very, very shortly. Invictus chasing him down. Of course, we can only speculate who's going to be leading that way going down into turn 1.
Yeah, it's all about the phase of the start, I think, out on track. We've seen it so far. We've seen Miss Shiro, I think, in Division 2 last night. He got a really good first phase of the start, but the driver behind, who started behind him in Division 2, got the jump down in towards someone, I think it was XL Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my mind. Sure, we'll have that confirmed, but let's see the final time these guys come around the final couple of corners. And for the final time in Division 5, before he gets promoted to the big leagues of Division 2, we have to go for Daniel Hoggard's special. Who's your top 3?
I wouldn't say it's a special, but I'll give it a shot. I'll say Rock City overcomes the Demons, wins tonight. Jimmy Storm, all reliable second. Maze, another all reliable for P3. Let's see what happens, though. We have no clue how this is going to unfold. 28 laps ahead of us, James.
Yeah, let's see then. These 5 red lights go out. I hope we are going to get a race start. I think we are, because the revving engines are on. And it's lights out and away we go, and Rock City gets a very good start. To graphics glitch to the left-hand side. Renault trying to get through, I think it was Jack Roos down Sapmi King, running down through turn 1. Rock City leads. Jibby Storm there in second, has got Invictus round the outside of turn 1. How crucial is that going to be? As Jibby Storm is now through up to second. Invictus third. Sapmi King is fourth. Jack Roos in fifth. Schmitsky in sixth. Mays in seventh. Really good stop by everyone down the field, I think. Oh, and there's a little bit of contact as soon as I say that. Salas has gone into the back. Freak Gronk, and there's all sorts of carnage. The Renault as well. Passelt is round. Storm and Hulkenberg, I think, got caught up in that to some extent as they run down the straight. Jibby Storm has been overtaken by Invictus through turn 6 and 7, and then we're on board with him, running down the straight towards turn 8. Can the champion get Invictus, the ever consistent man? But no, he's not going to hang on and fight for that position. It's Invictus still second, Jibby Storm in third, Sammy King fourth, Jack Roos in fifth. Looking further down the field, I think there's been more contact further down. Hulkenberg and NSR Storm have been caught up in a collision, I think, further down the field. Jibby Storm is really fighting back though on Invictus, trying to go around the outside through turn 11. He doesn't. Storm has picked up a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits. But Rock City, 1.4 seconds away. Sapmi King picks up a 3-second time, but it's Rock City who leads Invictus second, Jibby Storm in third. How crucial is that? More than a second clear, and we haven't even completed lap 1.
Rock City is really checked out, and it's all down to that epic and flowing battle between Invictus and Jimmy Storm throughout the first lap of the race. Jimmy Storm, great start, gets Invictus. Invictus, tenacious driving to fight back. Going into turn 4, he snatched back that second position and hung on to it, but he has lost a bit of time. Rock City, flawless first lap, leads the way pretty comfortably up at the front of the race. Can Invictus now chase him down? DRS active on the next lap, and that plays a huge role here at Abu Dhabi. And so everyone's settling into line now, getting another graphics glitch there. Absolute joy of joys out there. But looking at that battle for second place, as you can see there, side-by-side racing down the field. That is Schmitsky going at Sapmi King. It's going to get that booked up on the Ferrari, who's really slipping back. Then Mays now to the inside, into turn 4, and the Ferrari has definite wing damage. Look at him, he's being swamped through. Goes now Nilsson on the inside. Shumi's looking at the inside of the Ferrari, and all of a sudden, Sapmi King, after a great qualifying, slipping down the field. He's not got damage actually. I'm not sure what's going on, but at the moment, Sapmi King, after a penalty on the opening lap, is plummeting through the order. What on earth is going on?
Really not sure if he has got damage, just light green damage and all of that, but Sapmi King dropping down the field might be the case if he's gone quite a few laps in qualifying. Those tyres are overshooting and overheating out on track, and that might be the simple fact of the matter is now we see Nilsson trying to close up on the back of Mays. That gap is not 1.2 seconds, as you see on your screen, as Hulkenberg and Nellis fight side by side for 10th position out on track as they come now through the S section once again, on the chicane I should say, of turns 11, 12 and then 13. Hulkenberg now through on Nellis, he's up into 10th. Nellis, of course, returning from a qualifying ban, that's why he retired and didn't set a lap. Nilsson on the back of Mays in the meantime, as now the Mercedes is under pressure from the McLaren, and of course they are going to be suited up with the Mercedes, of course, in 2021 or McLaren, so Nilsson will be hoping for a bit of extra speed in Division 5 next season, or certainly when the new game comes out. Rock City though extends the gap, 1.5 seconds down in front. Invictus second, Jibby Storm in third. Really nothing going on. We'll run on board with Mason Nilsson 6th and 7th. 0.2 of a second down and towards turn 1, but not quite close enough. In the meantime, will focus on this battle. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and you can see there, Invictus actually getting a 3-second time penalty for some extreme track limits. That's going to massively hinder him again his battle with Rock City, but the field is already beginning to spread out up near the front of the race. Nilsson, though, does look very threatening towards the back of TTG Mays. How is this battle going to unfold? Nilsson has been looking a little bit stronger as of late. Can he consolidate that with a battle against the former championship contender Ed Mays? He's closing him down towards turn 8, looks to the inside line, will hang back for the move for now, but does he get a better exit coming off of turn 9? Let's see, a little bit of a chart with the rear tires of Mays. Now DRS is open. Nilsson, though, very low on DRS already, which is maybe why he's been threatening the back of the Mercedes with DRS. He closes all the time, looks to the inside lane at turn 11. Mays is unfazed, a lot of contact between them, but TTG Mays able to maintain that behind Sammy King with a penalty, of course. Another one to his name already, and after a really good showing in qualifying, Sammy King is having a mare out there at the moment. Now sitting in 9th place, the last of the soft runners out there on the track, and really suffering at the back of the field. They see Freak Frog, he's battling away with Team Mills. I don't think you can see that on your screens, but they are swapping and changing all the time with the DRS heading in to turn 11. Team Mills looks like he's just going to win out in that battle. Those two battled as well last time out in the Mexican Grand Prix. Up at the front, Rock City is continuing to check out there as Hulkenberg's going out of the session. That's spinning off. Coming off of turn 20, VSC is deployed and hardly anyone is going to benefit from it. Pretty much everyone is just past the pit lane. Hulkenberg must have lost it, maybe going over the curb on the inside there. Snapped the car and it's gone spearing off, I imagine, into the inside wall. The car has cleared itself before I can kind of analyse the wreckage, as Silas does come through now, and these guys not actually taking advantage of that pit stop. They don't want to compromise their tire strategy too much. So the VSC, of course, will be ending relatively soon, and we're going to get back to racing very shortly. These guys, of course, trying to drive as close to the Delta as they possibly can. I can hear some noises in the background. I'm not sure if James has returned to join me. Then again, I'm beginning to second guess myself. But up in the front, Rock City leads. Now we get back. Green flags are out. It's a good opportunity to get jumps on your rivals. Sammy King got pretty close to the back of Shumi. Both these guys have a lot of VRS in their name. DRS opened immediately. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any swaps between the Red Bull and the Ferrari. Nilsson still pressing Mays, but can't quite get through for the time being. Now on the 4th lap, this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, you can see Nilsson beginning to threaten him, get a move up towards him, but of course overtaken to this last sector. So difficult, and at the moment Mays is able to just about hold him back and hold off anything that Nilsson can throw at him in this final part of the lap. Mays, though, slipping back a little bit from the group up ahead there. Shevetsky's struggling. Jaff Rose is honing in on Jimmy Storm, who really just doesn't seem to have the race pace today. Surprisingly, we've not really seen that from Jimmy Storm. Struggling to keep pace on the top 2, and he's out of penalty range with Invictus already. The Rock City still leading the way, 1.8 seconds up at the front of the race. They're driving very solidly as Rock City will still see if he can keep it up. And James, I'm not sure if you've quite returned yet. Yes, hello there, James.
Javrus is right on the back of Jibby Storm. I think he was saying that Jibby Storm's tyres may be overheating, or certainly it appears that way, because Javrus is now on the back of him. 0.7 of a second running down the straight. I have to catch my breath, but running down the straight we come with the DRS zone and a bit of a DRS train forming in behind, with Nilsson trying to get Mays running down into turn 8. And you can tell I'm out of breath in commentary. I ran up the stairs. Goodness me. I need to be fitter, honestly. Nelson right on the back of Mays. And let's see if he can try and pull off the move. Mercedes against the McLaren. No changes of position, I don't think, since we were last away. But I have noticed they mild Salas, Gronk and the likes, of course, earlier on coming into the pit lane. And plenty of penalties, including one Jibby Storm who's just picked up a penalty. Rock City is dominating the right in front.
Yeah, no penalties as well for the Mercedes. He's driving very, very strongly and seems to have the pace over pretty much everyone else in the race. So that's going to be really encouraging for Rock City, who probably should have won the Japanese Grand Prix, but for a late safety car, which put pay to that. So let's see if his fortunes are going to be better off this time around. I have to say though, Jack Roos does look pretty fast out there. I think he didn't get the most out of his qualifying, and now he's really showing spinning over turn 21, complete Commentators cars, and the Renault has had a disaster in his chase for second in the championship. He recovers it, but he's got wing damage, and he's just past the pit lane. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jack Roos. The Renault goes spearing off. Soft tires, his strategy ruined, is compromised completely. And my oh my, that is gutting. And it swung the pendulum back towards Mays, who still continues to hold back Nilsson in that battle over 5th and 6th now to just get promoted. Can Nilsson finally get the move done and put Mays under a little bit of pressure? Let's see. Good exit from the Mercedes. He's covering off Nilsson whenever he needs to, off all the critical traction zones. And there's nowhere for the McLaren to get through. Yeah, he's used all of his overtake just in the first few laps, but he's got nothing to fight with. And you said, even though he looks quicker than Mays, getting his way past Mercedes looks almost impossible for the time being.
It's almost impossible, I think, because he's got hardly any ERS left, but this is as close he's been so far since I certainly came back from downstairs. Here comes Nilsson now on the back of Mays. I don't think he's going to be close enough. I don't think he's going to try the move either. He is going to try the move down the inside. Not a commentator's curse on my end, but Mays holds on. Mays holds on to 5th position. Nilsson in 6th. Try as you might, but fail as you deceive. Really out on track for Nilsson. He tried but failed, and he's still in 6th position. Sammy King getting on with things now as well with Shumi. 7th and 8th. Sammy King, of course, dropped down the field earlier on. Still don't think he had a bit of any front wing damage because he hasn't been into the pit lane. So I am assuming those tyres just completely hit the cliff as Nilsson's round and a VSC has been deployed.
I'm surprised there's not a full safety car. That's a huge shunt then. For McLaren just dumping it on the throttle. Coming in at turn 19 and has got out of shape, and immediately we're seeing pit stops. And could this be a massive strategic advantage for the guys that have just got not had to go past the pit lane? The top 3 in the race then, Rock City, Invictus, Jimmy Storm will have almost certainly wanted to pit, and now they've had the advantage nullified. Now look at some of these tyre choices then, everyone on the mediums, but one TTG Mays, and let's see what he makes of that. You said he's going to try and go to the end of those tyres, so let's see what he can make it out. I think the Hards can definitely do that, but they're going to be down on pace. They all benefit then. Now we go green flag, and Mays can get up to speed then on those Hards. What do you want to say there, James?
Invictus is right on the back of Rock City after the VSC.
Oh my!
4.5 tenths of a second. Yeah, he gained so much ground. I think he timed the VSC restart to perfection. That's all we can put it down to. Rock City caught napping, and Invictus is 4 tenths away, running down in towards turn 11. Of course, he's not close enough this time around, but you get the sense that Invictus is going to be up for this now. He's within striking range of Rock City. Whether he can get the move done, though, is another thing. Speaking of moves done, I think Salas and Gronk are going side by side as we ride on board now. The Williams is through on the racing point, and he's up into 12th. That's a rookie mistake from the lead commentator next season, of course, here in TTML. Jack Roos right on the back of Day Miles, and Day Miles already been into the pit lane. Jack Roos on a fresher set of tyres. You would imagine that the fresher set is going to work. I think don't dive bomb this down the inside, not like Nilsson did to Mays, and he doesn't. And that is sense there. No commentator's curse from my end. I think one man that is not going to be happy with that commentator's curse is Jack Roos. He's going to be happy that you're going up to Division 2 next season.
I'm terribly sorry. That's going to be interesting though. Where's Invictus going to come out? Because remember, all these guys that pitted on the VSC, they've had that advantage, but I don't think it's going to mean for quite enough here. Invictus is getting up to speed. That advantage that he built up is not, he's not miles ahead. There's not much in it. Shibetsky is going to be right there with him heading through turn 2, but Invictus will hang on to it. but will the DRS favour him? That said, Invictus has about 30% more in terms of the DRS, in terms of the battery, to try and hold the Williams driver back. Shvetsky has been thrust into the limelight here, but how much is that going to cost him? Don't rule out Maze either. He is about half a pit stop behind, but he's going for a one stop. Look at Shvetsky though. He's going to fight for this one. He has the DRS active then. Is he going to look to the inside line? Yes, he is. Invictus squeezed him, but he didn't squeeze him enough and through. Goes Shvetsky, but what did I mention about the swaps going to happen in a turn 11? You can see Invictus closing up on the brakes. He is not going to lie down and accept this one, and he is right on the rear wing of the Williams, and it opens up that DRS again. Now he's the one on the overtake, pulls to the inside line, and as they duel it out towards turn 11, Invictus claims the inside and will secure that position, but will that battling hold him back from his undercut attempt with OWR Rock City, who now comes towards the pit lane. What's the strategy call? He's going to stay out, I think, and he's not covering it off, and he has got quite a few laps on these tyres. I did see this strategy in Division 3, because I was watching that race. Jimmy Storm does come in, but I saw this in Division 3, the race that I was watching last night. Rock City, could he maybe be trying to go for a soft to medium strategy? Because I saw several drivers do that, and do successfully stay mild soft then, and yeah, he's brought right back to the back of the field. He recovers the car, but that's a huge blow to Daymel's race, and he's got damage.
Yeah, right side end plate damage, unfortunately for Daymiles. What I think's happened there, he's probably got caught in the curb, it spun the car. Unfortunately for him, and it's spun again coming through. That's just how difficult it is to drive on tyres that have already gone on the grass. So unfortunate for Daymiles, and now he has to try and spin it round like a Spinner Rooney or Wayne Rooney out on track. That's a terrible one. Invictus right on the back of Passelt. It's a good job Wayne Rooney's retired from football now, isn't it? Invictus right on the back of Passelt, running now down, and now Invictus is surely going to get through on Passelt. Watch out for Schmitzky. Passelt, though, gives him a little bit of a tap running side by side. It's not over and done with. Invictus feels like he can get this done without overtake mode. He squeezes him, but he's through. Invictus is through, and he's up into third. Really good stuff. But about 20 seconds a day, miles of tyres coming into the pit lane. That won't be a VSC or a safety car. Schmitzky now on the back of Passelt. It's Passelt hunting day. Out on track is now Schmitzky. Comes to the inside line and is going to get the move done. Running down in towards turn left, and the Williams now through, and he's up into fourth. Schmitzky, of course, not entirely out of it for third in the championship. Jack Roos is down in 10th. May's down in 8th. We'll watch that battle, of course, really closely in terms of second. Currently, by my reckoning, though, Mays is going to be 3 points ahead of Jack Roos come the end of this race, if it was to stay as it is. Rock City, though, into the pit lane from the lead, and I guarantee you he's going to be side by side with Schmitzky coming out the pit lane.
Well, let's say, of course, he was just in front of Invictus, but how much is that overcut gonna hold him back? And the Mercedes now launches from his pit box. Invictus round the last corner, Shubetsky behind us round the last corner, and Invictus fastest lap of the race. That is sensing the advantage of those fresh tyres, and Invictus will easily grab the race lead. And that undercut, look at how powerful that was.
Wow.
Rock City, you mentioned he's going to be side by side. He is nowhere near it. He's behind Pazels even, or is he? They're gonna go side by side on their turn to us. Invictus spinning up in the front of the field. He must have got the curb, gutting for Invictus. Another VSC, a third one in this race. Invictus, oh no, he grabbed the net race lead, and now he's dramatically suffered, has wing damage to his name as well. Oh, that's such a shame for Invictus. He drops behind Jimmy Storm now. He's still fighting for a net podium, but that damage is going to hold him back so much. Surely he's going to have to pit, and that's going to all but ruin his prospects at the front of this race.
So unfortunate, but with 3 DNFs already, anything can happen. In Formula 1, anything can happen here in TTML Division 5. I get a sense of deja vu from what I sent earlier, maybe, with the VSCs rather than the full safety car from Belgium earlier on in the season. I hope Codemasters is really not out to get me tonight. Passel's on the back of Rock City as we are about to get back underway, I believe. We should get back underway very soon indeed. I'm trying to time this as best as possible as Passelt is on the back of Rock City. We should get racing coming through the triple right-hander, I think. The yellow flags will receive. There we are. Nellis picks up a drive-through penalty. He's further down. He's in the lead, in fact, Nellis. So Nellis, in the lead, has picked up a drive-through penalty. Do you know what I would do? Get that served out the way now. He will still have to make his pit stop, but those tyres are looking fresher than some of the guys that were around him. And exactly what Nellis has done is what I would do. into the pit lane. Crashes coming into the pit lane nearly. Lucky not to serve and not to get any wing damage. That now promotes Schmidtsky, the Brit, into the lead of the race. Rock City now second, and Passelt still yet to come into the pit lane, of course. He's in third. Jibby Storm is nowhere to be seen tonight. His dominance from this season, really a bit of a shadow, I think, so far with 11 laps gone.
Yeah, he's just not been able to recapture the same speed that we've seen from him all the way throughout this season. It's really Rock City that's been up the front, but that VSC has really helped Schmidtsky now catapult himself into the race lead. But three laps on the tires, can he hold Rock City back? You know the Mercedes is going to be trying to fly up to these guys, almost identical on the amount of battery they have. But Rock City, you said, has just got a little bit more speed under him, and he climbs now into that DRS range on lap 12. I suspect he's going to be starting to pile the pressure on the race leading Williams. A duel shaping up then. We saw Schmidtsky briefly have a run at Invictus before Invictus repassed him, then lost the lead, and the McLaren's gone through the pit lane, now sits dead last on the road as Chad Roos moves past Sammy King on his comeback drive, and yeah, so Sammy King going off then is now alongside him, goes Mason, wheel to wheel with Nellis, and he squeezed the Ferrari right onto the curb then. Aggression from Mason like with anything we've ever seen, but he does get the move done. Up in a second place here, Nellis on a lot more ERS, trying to use it there on the run towards turn 14. I don't think that's going to work for him, as Chad Roos now chasing down his championship rival. This is not over yet, despite Chad Roos' mistake, and as a sign of the pace that he's had such a major error, had it for a wing change, drove a whole lap without an end plate, and he is still staring down the rear wing of Mays as Passel's finally into the pit lane for P3 on the roads.
Nellis is in as well, and that now frees up the battle for second in the championship. Mays and Jack Roos is now going to go down here in technically the desert, out on track. Can we call it the desert? Yeah, we could do that. The duel in the desert, I think, with Mays and Jack Roos for second place in the championship here in Division 5. Jack Roos now 6/10 away, now coming through turn 5 and into turn 6. The first sector is a 10th down his personal best. Look at Rock City as well, right on the back of Schmidtsky. He's 5/10 off and running down into the turn 8 braking zone, but Schmidtsky leading from Rock City in second. Hulkenberg leaves the session. We thank him though for his participation this season. Jack Roos right on the back of Mays. Is he going to try and get the move done? Look at the ERS. He's trying to strain every sinew out of that car. Every last amount of ERS as Rock City has gone through, ran the outside of turn 11, saw that on the mini-map. He is through and he's into the lead of the race on Schmidtsky, so those fresher tyres coming into play. Now it's the duel in the desert. It's Mason Jack Roos, 5th and 6th position, out on track, but this is for the most important points, and with that, Jack Roos now has taken Mays for 5th position. What is that going to do? I think they're now even on points, if I'm not mistaken, out on track. So Jack Roos 5th, Mays in 6th, and Mays now on the set of hard is just going to fall back into Satmy King, and Mays now is on the back foot, Jack Roos on the front foot.
I am now dramatically checking the podium throughout the season just to see who gets this on countback. I'm going to be counting this up in the meantime. Up at the front, the Rock City wrestled the lead from the Williams, and Schmidtsky leads the way just before the halfway point in the race, and he's not out of the question that he might possibly be able to get those mediums to the end. They'll be screaming from under him, but he might be able to get it done. But will safety cars potentially get in the way of that? We've already seen 3 drivers crash out of this race thus far. But still, Rock City looking very comfortable up at the front, and Schmidtsky is already struggling to stay within that range, and Rock City using all of his ERS, looking to try and break away from him. Mays is going to be under pressure yet again. Sarlas dives to the pit lane, dropping down the field a little bit. But Mays doesn't look to have any pace. Those hard tyres just don't seem to have anything in them. And now, Satmy King, on the same age of tyres, is rapidly reeling in the Mercedes driver. And he has 90% ERS. You know he's going to be threatening, and this could hand it back to Jack Roos. So here we go now. DRS is open. The ERS coming in here, and Mays defending this a little bit harder towards the inside line. And he gets a penalty off the outside of the straight. My oh my! That is incredible, as now wheel-to-wheel contact between them. Mays basically holding back, but surely he can't hold this on for much longer. Satmy King around the outside is going to snatch that 6th place away. Maze has to relinquish it, and I am baffled by that. Maze, running a millimetre off the track, gets a penalty for it. I've never seen anything like that. Well, I have. I have seen one driver, Toxic, in a 24-hour event, pick up a penalty in a similar fashion, but that is incredibly rare, and that's dramatically set back Maze's race.
How am I not surprised that was Toxic picking up a penalty in there? It's on track in a 24 hours of F1 event. Rock City leading though from Schmitsky in second. Yeah, Maze, I think. That 3-second time penalty, I know we can bend the stewards. That has to be removed. I'm sorry. That has to be removed. Satmi King though, 6th, Maze in 7th. And the only problem is with that 3-second time penalty, it really can't be removed because 3-second time penalties here in TTML don't tend to get knocked off. 5-second time penalties, if it was, would. Parcells now on a fresh set of hards against Free Gronk on a wearing set of mediums, and of course Free Gronk pitted in on lap 3, so it's going to be interesting to see if Parcells can try and reclaim this position for 10th position out on track. The only battle we've got out on track is the quietest it's been all season. Rock City leading from Schmitsky in second, Jibby Storm in third, and Jibby Storm would normally be right on the pace with Schmitsky and Rock City, but Jibby Storm, third position, 7.2 seconds off Schmitsky and nearly 9 seconds off the leader. What's going on with Jibby Storm tonight? Parcells now on the back of Free Gronk. Is he going to try and get the move done? Running down in towards turn 8. I think turn 11 is probably going to be the better opportunity for him, as now Parcells will back out of this move. Free Gronk 8th, Parcells in 9th. And I think he gets a good run out here. He's going to try and get the run. But Free Gronk 8th, Parcells 9th. Now uses up the overtake mode, and look at it. Look at the closing speed of Parcells. This is going to be job done then towards turn 11. I think he's going to have to go all the way around the outside and brave it out. In fact, he doesn't in the end. And he gave Free Gronk the benefit of the doubt. So Free Gronk remains 8th, Parcells in 9th. But look at NSR Storm and look at Nellison behind. NSR Storm certainly having one of his better races of the season in 10th.
Yeah, and let's see if he can chase down this duel up the road ahead of him, as well as Free Gronk does make a bit of an error, as we've seen him several times already in the race, going through turn 17, and now Parcells is hounding him from behind, and I'm not sure what's catching your eye back there, James.
Storm is absolutely all over the place. I literally said he was trying to catch these guys, and he's absolutely all over the place coming out of the third sector.
My.
He is still 2.5 seconds off, but just look at how wide he goes through the corners. Nellis is all over the back of him, and he hasn't even had to do anything.
Well, let's see if he can try and get a move done then. Again, oversteer the exit for NSR Storm. He's all over the road and gets offline again. Going through turns 2 and 3. Surely Nellis can get this move done. He's got the opening. He's going forward already. To the inside leg. Can he get that one done? They are level onto the brakes. Wheel to wheel contact between them. Through goes Nellis. He gave him the squeeze. Storm gets a penalty. Bit of a hard move there from Nellis, but he does get through in a rather unusual circumstance. But the manoeuvre is done anyway. Storm will try and fight back with DRS and ERS of his own, but the battery advantage that Nellis has may well still swing towards the Ferrari. They barrel down to turn 8, he defends the inside line, Storm up to the outside line, will set him behind, look for a better run, coming out of the corner, keeping half an eye on that span between passes and Free Gronk as well, but Free Gronk I think this time will have that move covered, and I think Nellis will be able to keep Storm behind. I mean, those fresher tyres, and looking like he's pretty quick, he can try and chase down the 2 cars in front, get into the top 8. The gap in front is very substantial. Silas picking up another penalty. Up at the front though, Rock City slowly but surely moving away. 3 lap fresher tyres is proving enough, and he now has a 2-second advantage over the Williams of Schmitsky in P2.
Look at the penalties that people have been picking up as well. Rock City, Schmitsky, Schumi, Parcells and Nellis are the only 5 out on track that have not picked up a penalty so far this race. Everyone has from 3 to 15 seconds worth of penalties. As Parcells catches Free Gronk, also Satmi King catching Javruz 5/10 away as he comes through turns 2 and 3, and he's got 15 seconds worth of penalties. Javruz has got 9 seconds worth of penalties. Salas is trying to fight with Satmi King for the most penalties awarded in a race, I think. 15 seconds. They've got to be really careful, because if they get to about 30 seconds, 33, 36 seconds around that end, they're going to be really under pressure to try and not get disqualified out on track. Nellis trying to move down Parcells and runs into the back of him, coming through turn 6. Parcells defending well. Nellis is in a hurry. He wants to try and get the move done. Patience is a virtue, my man. Wait for the right opportunity. And there is the right opportunity as he gets the move done. on Nellis, on Passel, sorry, as he's now going to try and get the move done on Freak Drunk as well. Look at the overspeed down the inside he goes, and Nellis. Patience is a virtue, my friend, and he's through, and he gets 2 for the price of 1, and he's through, and he's up into 8. Watch out for NSR Storm, though, catching him behind.
Yeah, still slowly reeling them in. Nellis's pace does look very impressive, and it shows what some fresh tires can do under, and now run to the 8th place without a penalty. That could really benefit him in the final stages of this race. We are now into the second half of this season finale, and still the race ebbs and flows on. Rock City is continuing to stretch away up at the front. Jimmy Storm is slowly but surely really getting Shemetsky, but that extra penalty is going to cost him, and speaking of penalties costing, again, another one for Jack Roos. And considering as well, Maze is almost certainly getting to the edge, Jack Roos is going to struggle in that regard. He really can't be having this. He needs to maximise the opportunities that he's getting, and at the moment that just doesn't seem to be happening. Although Maze is behind him on track and by some distance, you sense it with the strategies and with the penalties. Jack Roos is going to really struggle to hold on to that, and Maze I'd still rank as the favourite in that battle over second place. But we still have 12 laps to go. Anything can happen at Grand Prix racing, and it usually does. Let's see how that unfolds there. Jack Roos 5th, Maze 7th on the road, but I do suspect that the Mercedes driver still has an advantage in that battle over second in the championship.
He does, and so on the penalties, he's got 9 seconds worth less than Javrus, and behind. Here comes Satmi King now to the inside on Javrus, and Javrus now drops a position possibly. Satmi King to the inside. Javrus though doesn't want to fight this, and he goes back down the inside, and he gets actually the move done. Reed takes the position, but now Satmi King is going to absolutely launch it. There he goes, like an absolute rocket. Out of a grenade, out of a grenade launcher? No, that doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway, you get the gist. Satmi King is through, and he's up into 5th, like a loaded cannon. Like a loaded ball out of a cannon, I think is what I can try and reflect it on. I'm really terrible, aren't I? I need to brush up on this for next season.
He got there at the end though. Zhmetsky goes to the pit lane, so he's definitely committed to that 2-stop strategy, and are the guys around him going to follow suit? Zhmetsky's charge to the field potentially could be one of the highlights of potentially the second part of this race. Let's see. Softs? He does dive to the pit lane. It's softs going on, and that's going to be a stretch. I think they can't go to the end without puncturing, but he's going to struggle in those last few laps. And I think for overall race pace, the mediums may have been the better option. He's going to be just out ahead, I think, of Satmi King. Going around turn 2, yeah, he's going to be a few seconds ahead. So he's nicely out at P4. Shumi in front of him, and Shumi's actually one of his best drivers of the season, up on the podium. We've not really mentioned him much, but he's just quietly going about his business, and now runs in a good position. Invictus dives to the pit lane now, after just drawing level with Storm, and Jadra is fading back at Satmi King, round the outside of the hairpin. That's unconventional, and it's DRS is with the Ferrari, but he cruises through. Invictus is out of the race now, after a disaster earlier on. But Jadrus does snatch that place. Can he hold on to that? He's so low on the DRS. Satmi King looking back to the inside line. Will hold back for the move. He'll get DRS in again though if he gets a better exit. Dan the Reno coming over from turn 9 then. Reno though does power away. Again using everything. Just straining everything. Trying to stretch it towards turn 11. And yes, Jadrus will hold on to P5. They continue to swap out on track. But they're already, I think, losing a slight amount of time to Maze behind. At least they're not pulling away from the Mercedes anymore. So that is a sign of the mediums going off, and they probably won't get to the end, I imagine. Shumei behind, that could be an interesting strategy call, as he's being rapidly reeled in by Shemetsky. The question is for Shemetsky, if the top 2 can't get the tires to the edge. Shemetsky's put himself in such a strong position here. Shumei does stay out, but do Rock City and Jimmy Storm want to last this out to the end? We've got about 10 laps to go in this race. Will those tires last? You said they're going to be screaming, trying to almost slip out from underneath them in the final few laps of the race.
I will tell you now, if those tyres get to the end, then Schmitsky has really done well in terms of the tyre there, because not one driver, I don't think, this week has got 10 laps, 11 laps even, on a set of soft compounded tyre, let alone on a set of mediums. Normally 10, 11 laps is the majority. But I mean, Freak Drunk is bucking the trend on 16 lap now of all mediums. Here comes Schmitsky though. He's going to absolutely breeze past Schumi as if he's not even there. Schmitsky is through and he's up into 3rd. He's on an absolute charge through the field, but one wonders, is he going to be in the lead of this race once Rock City comes into the pit lane, which he will have to do. But remember, Rock City is going to be on fresher softs when he comes into the pit lane. If I was Rock City now, I would probably pit in. If I've got to be honest, I would probably pit in, try and risk it on the tyre deck. It's about 5-6% on a set of softs around here. I would risk it if I was Rock City. He's got, what, 20 seconds, basically, over Schmidtsky. That's about the majority of a pit stop around here. Go for it. I would say pit in this lap, but he doesn't listen to the commentator. He stays out at least another lap.
Maybe he is trying to go to the end. I have seen that one stop pulled off then. Further down the field, I'm seeing a battle between Pastels and Freak Frog. Pastels was able to get in front of Freak Frog and Williams, who you must imagine has got no grip left. You can see him running out wide as Jimmy Storm actually dives to the pit lane. And he's going to come out, I imagine, in and amongst that Jadro Satmi King area.
Mediums.
But slap predictably, and then it's going to medium. So he's made the safer bet. Those tyres will definitely get to the end. And even if Shemetsky doesn't get punctured, you said that he'll be struggling a huge amount those last few laps. Jimmy Storm will not be in the podium place. Shumi also comes in behind him then, as now coming in the pit lane. Where does the Racing Point emerge? He's going to be just level with Sammy King. No, the Ferrari just about gets the edge, but with much fresher tyres, you know he's going to try and get through. Going down the straight, surely it's going to be a done deal to hit. He's already lining him up, heading into turn 7. He looks to the outside line. Then, for the exit, powers through, they almost come together, the Ferrari, a little twitch of the rear tyres. Now, they run parallel down the straight, but surely Sammy King can't hold it back. Through goes Jimmy Storm, up into 4th place. He's about 12 seconds though, behind Shmetsky. So even if Shmetsky's tyres do go off, unless he gets a puncture, there's another penalty as well for Jimmy Storm. But unless Shmetsky gets a puncture, you says he's guaranteed at least 2nd place. And the pace that he has, it's not a guarantee. Rock City will stay out in front of him. Rock City, we'll see what he does here. But I don't think there's any easy way for the Mercedes driver to win this race with a strategic stranglehold that Shmetsky has. He stays out yet another lap. Could he possibly be trying to stretch this out all the way to the end?
I think he's trying to stretch it out as much as possible, but be the quicker driver at the end of the race and try and take Schmidtsky on the final lap of the race. That's what I think is going to happen, because we saw this in Division 1 early on in the week. 16.6 seconds, that is a pit stop essentially that Schmidtsky has got. Rock City probably is going to come out about 3-4 seconds, I would say. Nellis picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. But I'm assuming that Rock City is going to pit in either this lap or next lap around, go on to a set of softs, be quicker in terms of tyre wear. Jibby Storm, by the way, is through on Javroos. I think Javroos just let him through there, actually. So Jibby Storm now through, and he's up into 3rd. Around the outside nonetheless. He's through now, he's up to 3rd. Sappy King, by the way, came into the pits onto a set of softs, and Javroos now really struggling. The Jewel in the Desert and the Jewel in the Crown, Javroos and May still probably yet to come into the pit lane for their second stops. Schmidtsky, though, 15.5 seconds, just ticking under that now to Rock City in front of him. And Rock City, 15.5 seconds to Schmidtsky. Jibby Storm is a further 12 seconds back. You saw him actually in the background as Passels and Sapmi King, I think, are side by side, coming out of the pit lane. Passels just ahead of Sapmi King, but he would imagine that the Norwegian is going to get the Belgian in front of him, as Sapmi King just maybe has he got an issue maybe with his wheel or something like that. Shumi on the back of Nellis not getting the move done. Just looks really unsteady in terms of like the car turning, and again he's slow running down the straight. I wonder if there's a throttle input issue maybe with Sapmi King's car.
Well, that may explain why he slipped back so much at the start of the race, if you remember. Shumi is leading up Nellis, who defends the inside line. Shumi much later on the brakes and nearly finds his way round. Can't quite do it. Sapmi King, I think, is going to have better fortunes. It is all battle with Pastels to the inside line. The Ferrari gets the manoeuvre done. And off in the 8th place out on the road as Jacros gets another time penalty. And these are almost disastrous for his race. Still, Rock City's out there. Shimensky's catching him at such a rate now. He's going to be surely in front of him coming out of the pit box. I genuinely think Rock City is trying to stretch this to the end. It's a risky call, but I think he is going for this, because will it be too much to make up? We have just over 6 laps to go in this race as Jadros dives to the pit lane. Nellis to the pit lane. It's not out of the question either way. Rock City, I still think there's an element of doubt in this strategy call. Let's see what he does here, because Shimensky is catching him at such a rate. It's about a second a lap, I'd say, out there on the track. So if Rock City can just stay out there and the tyres don't fall off the cliff, he'll win this race. But if he goes into the pit lane, there's a risk there because of him not being able to catch Smitsky. So really, there's a nail-biting conclusion here. Can Rock City get these tyres? Can he carry them to the end of the race? keep it going and pull off a one-stop strategy, or will Shubetsky maybe benefit from that? We'll see what he does here. Rock City is going to have to make this choice in the next 2 laps, I think. Otherwise, we know for sure that he's going to the end. His mind will be made up. Let's see what the result's going to be. Rock City is barreling now through turn 19. He still looks like he's got some grip under him. He's able to control the car. There's no dramas out there for the Mercedes. He stays out again. I think he must be going to the end of the race and trying to make those tyres last.
17 lap he will get on that set of medium compounder tyres toward the end of the race. 13 seconds is the gap. I was about to say Schmidtsky was just beginning to fall off, but he is still catching Schmidtsky. But Rock City, 12.7 seconds out in front. Schmidtsky, that man there, coming through turn 1, 12.6 behind. You would imagine, even if those tyres were the freshest tyres possible, he would not catch 12.5 seconds in 5.5 laps time. That is simply impossible. Those tyres are now going to be starting to go off the cliff from around this lap onwards, so it's only really, I think, going to increase Rock City's lead towards the end. So I think, Dan, you're right. I think Rock City now has to be committed to the end of the race. Yes, it's a push. Yes, there's an element of doubt, but he has to. I think if Schmidtsky was to still stay out, he could be going puncture territory. He could get overtaken by Jibby Storm and Mays. By the way, Jack Roos came out on a set of soft compounded tyre. He's behind Parcells. Mays, 4th currently out on track. Will he pit in on that set of hards? Very unsure about that to happen. And if he does, that will promote Jack Roos maybe ahead of him in the championship as well. Oh, 5 laps to go at the end of this one. Rock City leading Schmidtsky second, Jibby Storm in third. Here is Freak Gronk on the back of Silas, running through turn 3. Is he going to try and get the move done around the outside of turn 5? No way by Freak Gronk. All the way around the outside he goes, the Dutchman. Can he get the move done? Silas hanging out to dry. Brilliant stuff by Freak Gronk. Yes, he's on fresher tyres, but my God, what a move. Around the outside of turn 5 and 6 he goes. And he's through turn 7. And Freak Gronk is through and he's up into 10th. We saw movement as well. Jack Roos is through on Parcells, and I believe Schumi got the move done on Mays as well.
Yeah, swapping and changing the race, really heating up at the final laps. Freak Frog, we saw this last time out. The guy's a master of the overtake, and he gets the move done again on Silas up in a 10th place. They're brilliant from Freak Frog. Can he continue to progress in these final laps? They're Parcells now with a penalty, so we're only left with 3 clean drivers now in this race, as Rock City still leads. Smetsky, you sense he's running out of grip now in those tires, because the rate of catch is just not quite what it was before. And Rock City, unless he gets a puncture, looks pretty safe, it must be said, up at the front of the race then. Jimmy Storm is less safe to Schumi, because not only is Nellis on Parcells, was that round here to turn 20? No way!
What a move around the outside of turn 20! Absolutely unbelievable. Yes, he's got fresher tyres, but I couldn't care. I couldn't give one jot. But Nellis is through. Around the outside he goes, on Parcells, through turn 20 of all corners, and he's through and he's up into 8th. Absolutely unbelievable. Yes, we might have criticised his driving, but that has just put the doubters to rest. Nellis through and he's up into 8th.
Oh, sensational there from Nellis. Does he still have a chance at reeling in? He drops front there. Jack Rose in front has a huge mass of penalties, as does Satmy King. So he's in range to jump both those drivers as it stands. So he has driven brilliantly as Nellis. Let's see if he can continue to impress in these final few laps. We're still looking at battles up the front there. 4 laps to go in what has been an incredible season in Rock City. Still leads the way, looking for that second victory. Still Shubetsky trying to chase him down, but he doesn't seem to have enough left in him. Schumi is catching Jimmy Storm as well. He has fresher tyres, and he is without a penalty. Jimmy Storm has 6 seconds to his name. I think that he will just hang on for another podium, but Schumi is going to run him close. No mistakes can be made, I think, on either side of it. Still, Rock City holding firm. 10 seconds is the gap. Shubetsky's tires will be going off as well at this point. They're both going to be limited, but it looks like the Mercedes is headed for a race 1. He's outclassed the rest of the field, it must be said then. Hasn't relinquished a net race lead at any point, besides Shubetsky just jumping in the pit lane. You sense Invictus may well have been able to fight for it if he hadn't made that error. But in the end, Rock City stayed clean, stayed consistent, and now he leads by a huge margin. Just has to bring it home without punctures, and it'll be a well-earned victory yet again for the Mercedes, and as well with Mays at P5, surely that's going to wrap up the constructors for those guys at Mercedes as well.
It will, because Salah standing at 11th, Mays, of course, outscoring, or he's behind Jibby Storm, but Mercedes outscoring Racing Point, which is the more crucial thing. Rock City, Schmidtsky, Jibby Storm, currently the top three. Just with regard to the interviews as well, we will have the interviews, of course, for you at the end of the race. Tom just confirming that to me on Discord there. This is, honestly, the most boring final couple of laps I think we'll ever see. It's Abu Dhabi at the end of the day. I mean, come on. It's Abu Dhabi. How much are they paying for us to see these final couple of laps? And how much is Tom paying the organisers at Abu Dhabi for paying these final couple of laps, I wonder? Here comes NSR Storm on the back of Silas. Duke's one way, now to the other. Down the inside he goes NSR Storm, and he's through on Silas. Through, and he goes up into 11th position. There we are. We had a battle in the end as soon as I said that. Storm through. Silas now going to fight back on a set of hards. Look at the overtake mode. Look at the overspeed as well. Silas has absolutely breezed past NSR Storm as if he wasn't even there. And we see the yo-yo effect going on into great effect. And Silas is through and he's up into 11th. Storm now back down into 12th. It's going to be hard work now for Storm. Schmidtsky, by the way, is still catching Rock City. 8.4 seconds. I mean, it's impossible for him to try and win this now, but they're still keeping clean out on track. One penalty can throw it either way. Well, in the whole scheme of things, if two penalties were to throw, maybe even three, then they would be thrown into Schmidtsky's way. But Storm, right on the back of Salas, 11th and 12th. Probably the best amount of action you'll get for the next 3 laps, I would imagine.
That's battle for last and second last. That is very Abu Dhabi. But let's see these guys put in a good show for us here. Can Storm consolidate the manoeuvre this time as Silas doesn't get the best run actually coming out of turn 1. And the Alfa Romeo chasing him down but gets wildly offline. You're going through turn 3, and we'll have to stick it behind for now then. Heading into the middle sector. The Racing Point is in quite deep then, going through turn 4 and 5. Keeps it nicely on the road, runs a little bit wide. He's searching to try and get a big punch, a big exit. Coming off at the hairpin, and they got very, very close. Now, DRS is going to be active. Can Storm get the move done this time, and for good? Now, he's chasing him down with a lot of overspeed. Looks to the outside like he's a sell the dummy. He's going to go to the outside again, though, this time. Going the long way round the Storm. He's getting squeezed out by Silas, but he still has the inside line. Momentum over the Racing Point will get through, but DRS with Storm to fight back then. Silas, asserting his possession on the track, moves to the outside line to cover him off. Now Storm coming back at him. Can he go all the way around the outside of turn 11? Solely on the race, the Alfa Romeo. He gets alongside through the apex. Incredible Storm! Gets the manoeuvre done and nails on Jack Rose as well.
That's turn 20!
Getting more everything. And he's done the same again, the exact same move at turn 20. And it's both Reynolds that have been on the receiving end who are brilliant from Nellis. He's heading for a solid top 6 finish here as it stands with the penalties coming into play. We're now into the final 2 laps of the season and it's holding up here in these last few laps. Can Jack Rose fight back? But you sense that the Renault just doesn't quite have the pace to fight back. It's been a real off-colour day for the man that was in contention for second in the championship. Silas has been disqualified. What else has happened there?
And that is 2 weeks in a row, if I'm not mistaken. He's got more penalties. Multiple penalties. He's been disqualified from the race. His car will go into AI. There'll be no safety car at all. Rock City, I mean, is coming through the final couple of corners, about to start the final lap of the race as well. 21 people, by the way. 23 people, in fact, watching Division 5 tonight. With the addition of the graphics, we have to thank Tom, of course, for this unbelievable feat that we've done. And, of course, the interviews will follow with our top 3, which you imagine are going to be Rock City, Schmidtsky, and Jibby Storm out on track. Hopefully, I haven't cursed that for everyone else now in the comment section. As I see there as well earlier on, our new commentator for Division 5, who I'll reveal at the end of the stream, was in the comments, and he is getting his first taste of the action, of course, and he might or might not have the same namesake than me. Well, there we are. Freak Bronc on the back of Parcels. 9th and 10th position. Yes, I'm really cheeky as now Freak Bronc is going to try and get the move done through the triple right-hander, through 15, through 16, through 17. Not really a natural overtaking position. He goes into the back of him. Just silly on the brakes there from Freak Bronc. I think he just basically messed up his braking point. Runs into the back. Did he have any damage from that? I don't think he did. But Parcels, Freak Bronc, 9th and 10th, and right on end plate damage. And that is going to be the end of his charge, I think, on the back of Parcels. He's got fresh softs, so he can still try and get the move done, But imagine with that damage, it's going to be impossible. Half a lap to go though for Rock City. He leads 7 seconds. Schmidtke's still closing the gap down, in fact. Really, really surprised that Schmidtke's tyres have not gone off the cliff. But Rock City is on his way to getting an interview. And you, my friend, Daniel Hoggard, were right all along. So I congratulate you. Rock City is getting to the end of the race. This is what a head commentator doesn't know. Rock City now rounding the final couple of corners through turn 20. Don't think we're going to see any celebratory donuts from him at the end of this race. Rock City, though, through the final corner, he weaves across the line and he wins in Abu Dhabi. Freak Gronk, though, unpassed. Side by side, running down in towards turn 8. Freak Gronk is through unpassed. Despite that front wing damage, he is through and he's up into 9th. We'll focus on that battle shortly. Jibby Storm, the champion of this season, through the line in 3rd. Shumi is going to finish in 4th. Really good drive, actually, from Shumi. That VSC really worked to good effect. And Shumi is around the final corner with no penalties either. So well done to Shumi. Across the line he comes to finish in 4th. Then we've got Maze coming across the line to finish in 5th. And then Sappy King 6th, Nellis in 7th. Pariah, NSR Pariah, an old friend of mine from the TTL days. Jibby Storm won the championship last round in Mexico. Nellis across the line in 6th, jumps Sappy King. Jack Roos in 8th, Freak Gronk in 9th. He's just about to get 9th position. Barring any accidents coming through the final 2 corners. Passel's now right on the back of him. But the Dutchman will beat the Belgian, so the 2 neighbours finish 9th and 10th. And Passel's, in fact, jumped up to 8th, so the less I said that about that bit, the better, to be honest. Storm, across the line in 11th. My northern accent coming in there right at the end. But that is NSR Storm coming across the line to finish 11th. We'll see the podium celebrations, we'll see the grid order, and then we'll get the interviews done. Nellis, driver of the day, with a very weird pose there.
Let's gloss over that and focus on our podium, and it is Rock City. I'll take some pride in at least predicting the winner right for once throughout this season. Yeah, a bit of redemption for Rock City. What could have been though throughout this season? Trubetsky, great drive, must be said. Again, as he mentioned with Shumi, timing of the BSC really helped him, and he does wrap up P2. Jimmy Storm. It's weird to call a podium an off day, but given the dominance that he's exhibited this season, there's no other way to put it. Hopefully we get all these guys in for podium interviews. But yeah, Rock City leading the way here today, and I'm going to jump away and try and get everyone into the party, and we can hear from all those guys, hopefully, about the final race here in Abu Dhabi.
And let's hopefully see the grid order. Hopefully.
Oh,
if we don't, then you know the grid order, because I've just said it. I've got a black screen with "please wait" at the top of my screen, which is not that great. Oh no! It happens right at the end, doesn't it? It has to end this way. It's got to go, isn't it? So back into the lobby. It has. That's absolutely unbelievable. Anyways, you see the grid order. You saw the top 3 podium interviews. The podium. Schmidtke 2nd, Jibby Storm 3rd, Shumi in 4th, Maze in 5th, Nellis in 6th, Sappy King in 7th, Passel's 8th, Jack Roos in 9th, Freak Gronk in 10th, and Storm finishing off in 11th position. See, you didn't need the grid order to come up on your screens for me to tell you that. Jibby Storm, of course, awarded the Drivers' Champion. Pariah saying he's going to make a comeback in TTML someday. That'll be interesting to see. And, of course, we'll get our podium interviews in very shortly indeed. But it has been an absolute honour to bring you the action, of course, this season. And, unfortunately, for myself and Dan, we are no longer going to be a partnership. I know, how dare we go away from the TTML commentary box. We're doing our own things, of course, in TTML moving forward. But it's been an absolute honour to take you through the Division 5 action here tonight. And for myself and Dan, it's going to be a real miss to see you guys in Division 5. I am going up to the big heights of Division 4 next season. So that's not too bad. And Mr. Daniel Hoggard is even going bigger than me, going Division 2 on a Thursday night. Very cushy indeed. but you're not in Division 1, are you, Dan?
There it is. Yeah, rub it in. Yeah. All right, Mr. Head Commentator.
Yes, I get to take my job next season, which is going to be fantastic. Anyways, we have got our podium interviewers in, and first of all, it is Mr. OWR Rock City. We were meant to interview you before the race, in fact. We promised you last week. We're doing it now as the winner in Abu Dhabi. Talk us through your race.
Yes, boys, let's go. Yeah, so thank you very much. My race today I think it was pretty clean. I did my strategy, follow it, and it worked out. I had a pretty nice run in the quali. I felt my pace was, pretty good. And when I was first in the first turn, I was like, yes, this is going my way today. But then Invictus starting to gain on the second virtual safety car, and that was not so good. So unfortunately for him, he spun when I come out of the pits, and then it was just Mitski, and he was fast, but unfortunately I was faster, and he was waiting for a two-stop strategy. So yeah, the last couple of laps was just pretty autopilot, I think.
Autopilot. I like that description, honestly. Talk us through that VSC, though, because did you misjudge that VSC restart, or was just Invictus quicker off the blocks in terms of the VSC? Because it was about 0.2 of a second going into turn 8 at the end of that.
Yeah, no, I definitely misjudged it because the first VSC I was saving my delta for the straight so I can push when a little bit before, but on the second one I tried to do the same, but I would just misjudge it, and Invictus was I don't know, 4/10 up on me, so yeah, totally misjudged that.
Totally misjudged, but you still come out on top though nonetheless. Dan, have you got any questions for Rock City?
Obviously you're a driver. I think you've shown tremendous pace all the way throughout the season, a lot of races that haven't gone your way. How would you just reflect on the season as a whole and how you can maybe improve going into next season?
Oh man, this season has been a roller coaster for sure. Yes, because I feel like I have the pace to be top 3 every race, and I think I've shown it in a couple of qualies and during the race as well. But yeah, I have changed my driving style for this couple of 3 last races, trying to be more patient and not be so aggressive into the turns, and try to stay on track, not spin out. So I think my new driving style suits me more, and I can show off my pace more. So yeah, totally roller coaster this season. So I hope next season will be much better, and I hope I can start next season the way I ended this one.
Fantastic. Yeah. And sorry, I'm just saying. I'm guessing we're gonna move over next to our second place finisher in this race, Zimetsky, who I have to say had a very solid season all the way through, but really shined in this final race. Zimetsky, just coming to you quickly. Obviously you've been thereabouts all season, but this has been one of those races where you've really shone through. The VSC really helped you out there, but how was it really fighting up there at the front amongst some of those big names?
That's awkward. Is he here?
He joined the party, I swear, but I guess...
Hello.
There he is. I can see his mic. There
now?
He is.
Sorry, my bad, boys. Yeah, it was all right. I don't tend to look at the names. I mean, at first it was sort of 5th, 6th. I thought maybe I'd get a P3, and then basically, like all season, really, I've just capitalised on people's making mistakes, spins, battles, etc. So I knew I wouldn't get Rock City, so I seen a gap to make the second stop and thought, why not try? But yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And you also managed to keep it clean all the way throughout. Brilliantly driven. First of all, are you signing up for next season here in TTML?
Yes, yeah. I've already signed it, yeah.
Brilliant to see. So what are your expectations for next time we go racing? And if you're in D5 again, what do you think your prospects may well be?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I aim for 5th this season, so I guess P3, but I don't know. We'll see.
Believe in the championship standings, you might have actually finished 4th, if I'm not
Ooh.
mistaken. That's that goal. Well achieved, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I confirm what divisions people are in? I don't think they've been finalised yet, but I really want to. But I'm gonna have to leave you suspending, I'm afraid. I'm gonna have to leave you with a lot of suspense in terms of the let's just say our new commentator is gonna be very happy. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyways, let's move on to our P3 sitter, of course. It is Mr. Jibby Storm. And Jibby Storm, this is an interview that we don't normally do. 3rd place, what happened?
I don't know. I didn't have the pace. Yeah. But good job to Rock City and Smitsky for the P1 and 2. And they had the pace. I didn't. So.
Cheers, mate.
Every champion has an off day, and I think we saw that tonight. You were definitely a shadow of your former self. Talk us through that race though, because that VSC was your wrongdoing, because you were one of the 3 drivers. I think Rock City and I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was Invictus that got caught out by it. Yeah. That VSC really was your wrongdoing. Did you feel with that VSC coming out as it did, it ruined your chances for the race win?
No, because I didn't know. I couldn't expect to win because Rock City had the pace. He clearly had the pace. So, and I was losing time, and then the VSC come, and yeah, I lost it. I lost a lot of time, and then on the second VSC, Invictus he spun. But he came back on the track, and I needed to brake very hard because he was in the middle of the track, and I couldn't go anywhere. So I was scared a little bit, but yeah. Otherwise, it was a good race, clean driving from everybody. So, from my perspective.
Yeah, I think Invictus might have used the reset to track feature in that as well, so there might be a little bit of a slap wrist coming his way if he might be watching the end of this stream. Dan, have you got any questions for our champion?
Well, there's been I have to say, there's been quite a lot of questions that I've thrown your way throughout this season, given how frequently you've been with us. The same question that I've asked our other 2 guests here. I guess, you said that we can't reveal anything, but the champions are automatically promoted, right? So we can mention that. So you're going to be obviously up in Division 4 next season. What are your expectations for that? It's obviously, you imagine it's going to be a bit tougher, a bit more competitive. So how are you planning on adapting and trying to shine yet again in a tougher division up there?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect because I don't know how the drivers are. But I'm just gonna have a lot of fun, and that's all. That's what it's all about, fun. So yeah.
I love it.
Not to put pressure on you, Jibby Storm, but you have got Tekken in there who won TTML Season 1 Division 5, and I can reveal you're coming with me as well, because I'm going to be covering Division 4 on a Friday now.
Yes! Yes!
See, he doesn't care about Dan now. Doesn't care about Dan.
Unbelievable.
Dan is going to Division 2, so...
But he doesn't get to cover the top tier, though.
We're doing this again, James. Are we?
It's the final race of the season. Why shouldn't I try and mimic everyone? Oh, goodness me. Thank you, Rock City. Thank you, Schmitsky. Thank you, Jibby Storm, for your interviews. That is it for tonight here in TTML. We've got a really quick turnaround, of course, next week, because if you're not aware already, we're racing next week. It is Season 3, Division 1, and Round 1, of course. Australia is the first round of the championship, so you better get preparing because we start in just 4 days' time. Myself and Luke Etheridge are going to be taking you through Division 1. Division 2, of course, it is going to be Daniel Hoggard and Michael Edwards, the LOE partnership reformed in TTML. Division 3 is Aiden Carter and Conti. Division 4 is the reunited pairing of myself and Paco Suarez on a Friday night. That's going to be really good, and really good to have a catch-up, of course, with Paco. And then Division 5, our new commentator, James Boyle, is going to be taking you through the action. You might know him as Cadwell5. So that is going to be your new commentator for Division 5 if you are not like me and Jibby Storm and getting promoted to Division 4 next season. And, of course, all races, 8 PM UK time. The calendar is probably coming up on your screen around about now. So we've got Australia, Bahrain, Spain, Baku, Austria, Britain, Italy, Singapore, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. And I'm very pleased to report, like in old TTML style, we've got no breaks. So we're straight through until the 2nd of April, where we finish off once again in Abu Dhabi. It has been an absolute pleasure to have Daniel Hoggard alongside me in the commentary box. And honestly, Dan, who was your driver of the day and, most importantly, driver of the season?
Oh, there's something going on in the background, so it's just no. Well, driver of the day. This is awkward because I have 3 podium sitters in the party with me, and I don't want to say anything nah, I think I'm gonna have to say Rock City, especially because of all the bad luck that he's had throughout the season, and being able to overcome that. What on earth is going on in the background?
That's Schmitzky's mic, I think.
But yeah, I think flawless driving. Schmitzky also drove fantastically from a slightly lower grip position. All of you guys on the podium drove brilliantly, but if you don't mind, I'm going to go with Rock City. And driver of the season, I think, has to go to our champion, and our dominant champion at that, Mr. Jebby Storm. Hardly put a foot wrong all season. 6 straight race wins, can't argue with that. So Jebby Storm's my driver of the season. And very excited to see you in Division 4. I'm very excited to see all of you racing next season. Even though I'm doing D2, I'll be keeping a very close watch.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. Rock City for driver of the day, Jibby Storm for driver of the season overall. And hopefully you'll be able to hear us in terms of the commentary. We've reached the end of the stream. Nonetheless, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Tom as well. Give him a massive round of applause for all the graphics that he puts in. We are going to be debuting a task system as well next season, which is going to be very interesting. Division 1 and Division 2, I think, get that telemetry system, which is absolutely brilliant. There we are. The oxygen machine has now gone from my ears. There we are. Goodness me. But yeah, Tom is going to be debuting the telemetry system. So if you're in Division 1 and 2 next season, then you will have to set your telemetry to public, and we will be running you through the action. Myself and Luke Etheridge, of course, on Division 1. And then Dan has got to get to grips with the graphics of, again, on Division 2 next week, which will be very entertaining. But between now and then, me and Tom will give you the once-over, I think, in how to use the graphics and how to prepare and everything. It'll be like a commentator's course, honestly. That is it. That is it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please stay safe in this crazy world we all live in, no matter where you are from. Coronavirus is still out there. Please stay safe. Please keep your family safe as well. Please stick to the rules. Thank you so much for tuning in to TTML this season. For myself and Dan Hoggard, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next season on Tuesday, goodbye.
to a life, can't put me in a box. I redefine any definition you got. I am the tiger, I'm making steps to the top. The flames, I whip it up, you just gotta hand me the rock. Take a seat, you cannot stand it. All I know, the flow harder than a Scotch bunny. Don't try studying me, you cannot manage. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
Yeah, you better listen. I'm bringing heat. You'll be a fan when I start rapping. Way I'll have your fucking head spinning. I'm known as spit vicious. Release bombs and go tick tick. Boom, you blow me that head missing. I'm a phenomenon. Stacking cheese like it's Parmesan. 8 different flows, call me Octomom. I'm moving fast like the Autobahn. And I'm independent, so I'm not your fucking starving like it's Ramadan. Sick, twisted, gifted. Can't copy, printed. Can't hold me down. I shape shift, I'm liquid. I killed this beat, I might get convicted. They know how I move, it was predicted. Persistent, spoken into existence, so consistent, no assistance. Hear me once, become addicted. If I rap it, then I live it. There's no cap when I be spitting this.
This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon. This ain't what you want, bitch, I'm a fucking phenomenon.
This product is brought to you by Unknown Brain. Thank you for listening. Love you all.
Holding on to what I know, to everything I've learned. What is real and fabricated? What is wrong? What is my problem? What can I get out of this world that I created? Fighting the storms in my head. Don't know where I have been. I'm alone, no one to turn to. No one understands, shit's too complicated. Away, and I feel like I am someone else. Away, and I feel like I don't know myself, no. Away, and I feel like I don't know my name. And I don't want to live this way. I don't want to keep on wasting a life. I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing the mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless.
Unknown Brain, Marvin Devine, and we back. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Made it through the rain and rain. I turn nothing into something. No more dealing with their assumptions. Cause I do what I gotta do and I know, can't nobody do it like me. All they do is judge me for who I might be. Maybe if they took some time to pick my mind to see that I'm cooler than lemons and iced tea. All I wanna do is live it up with the homies. Everybody really talking as if they know me. But I guess I gotta face it. I'm so tired of being faceless.
I don't wanna keep on wasting life. I'm drowning in my head, I'm losing the mind. And if you could know, yeah, if I could show you, I don't wanna keep on living this life so faceless.
So faceless.
I've got a premonition, I'm dreaming you and I. All my darkest fears are coming outside. We got a billion races, we got this melody. And you can trust me, baby, we got everything. Call me whenever you feel alone, babe. And when you need to cry, I'll be by your side. Call me whenever you need someone, babe. And when you need to escape from 1,000 fires, I'm gonna kiss you wherever you are. And I'm gonna miss you, I will never lie.